A study of more than 3.5 million students has found that those who sit their GCSEs during a major international football tournament, such as the FIFA World Cup or the UEFA European Championships, get worse exam results than they would in a football-free summer. And there are fears that students could suffer during next year's Euro 2012 games. Well, let's talk to the report's co-author, Dr. Robert Metcalfe, who's in our Oxford studio. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. What's the methodology in your report? How did you go about conducting it?
Well, imagine how the National Pupil Database, which is a database of every state school child in England taking their examinations at the ages 16 and 18. And what we found is that when we looked at students who took their examinations during either the FIFA World Cup or the European Championship, the results of their examinations were a lot lower than similar students, both in previous subjects before the World Cup or the European Championships, or similar students who took their exams 1 year previous.
That's fascinating. So every 2 years then, exam results, the quality dips?
Yes, particularly more so for those who are boys and those who are disadvantaged children. So the average effect is a quarter grade drop in examination performance for those students taking their exams during their football period. But for those disadvantaged boys, the drop in grade to taking their exams in the football period is by half. And if we look at the most affected groups, the top 5% groups affected, they drop their grade by 1 grade overall in the examination period. So it's a large finding.
So this is just for football then? I mean, if you have the Olympics every 4 years or the Rugby World Cup, for instance, this year, you don't get the same effect?
No, because what's important here to note is that the Football World Cup and European Championships overlap with 3 weeks out of the 6-week GCSE period. So it's very hard for students to think about how to allocate their time between actually studying, revising, and watching England or watching other teams playing in the major international tournaments.
And there's a definite sexual divide here between boys and girls. The boys do worse because they're the ones watching football. And what can be done about this anyway?
Well, girls are affected, but boys are just more affected than girls. And we find that 91% of state school children are affected by taking their exams in the football period. But the simple thing that we could do is to notify students that actually when it comes to the end of the examination period, they're going to have some tough constraints in their time. But a more general policy would be to think more about effort and how effort matters and how to set up the school timetable so you can bring examinations forward by a week or two to stop a clash with the major international football tournaments.
Fascinating. Okay, Dr. Robert Metcalfe, thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's time for the weather forecast. That's with